What's up, YouTube? This is my Blaster Blade deck. It's a deck profile I've been working on and thinking about for the longest time, and I've just put it off for way too long. Mainly because it's really not that competitive of a deck unless you open up Blaster Blade, which is the deck can do very easily now that I've kind of thought about it and made a couple changes to my original idea. Very good deck, other than facing off against some of the meta like the end, and let me just put it this way, it's more of a fun deck. It can hold its own if you rip the nuts, but that's about it. 4 Blaster Blade, the MVP, the heart and soul, the whole reason I wanted to make this deck. If anybody thinks or knows about Royal Paladin, they're gonna know Blaster Blade. Blaster Blade is the iconic Royal Paladin card. I even turned him into a gold paladin because he's amazing. His effect is in Vanguard, if he's called to your Vanguard, you can counter+2, retire anything on the field. Actually, I think it's grade 2 or lower. Nope, anything on the field. And if it's called to your rear guard, counter+2, retire a grade 2 or higher, which is also pretty decent. It gets rid of your opponent's interceptors and big hitters. Like I said, MVP of the deck, main card of the deck. So for him, for your grade 3s, I run 3 Solitary Knight Gancelot. Like I said, you need to open up Blaster Blade every game pretty much, or else you're not going to do well in that game. Gancelot has 2 effects. Really, the only effect you use it for is during your main phase, you can return this card to your deck, to the top of your deck, add a Blaster Blade to your hand, and shuffle your deck. Essentially, like I said, getting Blaster Blade to your hand turn 1. It does have another effect if you call this card to Vanguard, and if you ride this into Vanguard and your Blaster Blade in the soul, you can counterblast, I think, 3. Counterblast 2, give the unit plus 5,000 plus 1 crit till the end of the turn. That's not that good because he's only a 9k. If he was at least a 10k, it'd be a lot better. But only point of him is to return him to get Blaster Blade. So the next grade 3 of the deck you run is 3 Alfred, King of Knights Alfred. It's probably the main Vanguard you're going to want to ride into mid to late game. You don't typically want to ride into him early game, and I'll show you why in a minute. Grade 3. Yeah, that's all that needs to be said about him. Probably the first Vanguard you're going to want to ride into is 2 Alfred early, because if you're playing the deck right, you've rode into Blaster Blade last turn, and you counterblast 2. No, when he's ridden on Vanguard, you can call Blaster Blade from your soul to your rear guard, and just keep reusing Blaster Blade's effect. Really great card. For grade 2s, like I already said, you run the 4 Blaster Blade. Self-explanatory. I run 3 Vanilla Gallatin and 3 Vanilla Lamorak. You can honestly mix and match whatever you want with these combinations, but I like the 3 and 3. For your grade 1s, I run 3 Wingull. I really hate this art, but I'm OCD and it has to be the same art for every card, because I have one of the original art and I haven't gotten the other 2 from a friend yet. So just so I can have the deck completed, running 3 of the crappy art. What Wingull's effect is, if it's boosting a Blaster Blade, it gains plus 4, so it becomes a 10k booster, so your Blaster Blade hits for 19, which is really good. For your other grade 1, you run 3 Lake Maiden Leon, not 3, I mean 4 Lake Maiden Leon. Rest this card, drop and draw, just help thin out your deck, and help get your Blaster Blades faster. And then you just run the 4 AK Vanilla is really great. And to round off the grade 1s, obviously yet again 4 Perfect Guard. Like I said, in every one of the decks right now you need 4 of these. It's just going to get worse. For triggers, I run 4 Epona. So 4 Epona, 4 Alabaster Owl. Blah, sticking to my fingers. So 4 Alabaster Owl. So that's 8 crit. If you can see that. Yeah, 8 crit. And then I run 4 draw in this build because this deck lacks defensive capabilities, so 4 draw is good. And then 4 heal, obviously. Just, it's a heal trigger, you gotta run it. And for your starting, you do run Wingull Brave, because like I said, Blaster Blade, Blaster Blade, Blaster Blade. You want to open up Blaster Blade. That's the deck, guys. If you want a cheaper variant of Royals, this is the build to run, and it's also very fun and semi-competitive. This was my Blaster Blade deck. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and peace YouTube.